Ken Ampy.
All right, thanks so much for doing this, Ken. I appreciate your time for jumping on here, and yeah, I just wanted get up here and talk about talk about business, talk about your background, and share it with the listeners. So, for those who don't know, if you can maybe just talk about your business a little bit, little overview, and we can jump right into it.
Okay, thanks, Hamilton. My name is Ken Ampy, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Astyra Corporation. Astyra is a workforce solutions, staffing, and consulting firm. We've been around now for 26 years, providing talent to businesses in need.
That's great. And what I guess from a like growing up standpoint, like were you always like entrepreneurial or like were you always into business?
Now, growing up, I worked on a tobacco farm, and so it was sort of early mornings, hot days in the field kind of thing. It wasn't until later when someone asked me if I had entrepreneurs in my family, and I said no. And I told them I grew up living with my grandparents. They said, "What'd your grandfather do?" I said he was a farmer. They said, "Did he have to make payroll?" I said, "Yeah, me and the other guys that worked in the fields, we on a Friday we sat out under a tree, waited for him to come back from the bank, and he paid us all." They said, "Did he have to sell his product?" Like, yeah, he load up the truck and drive it over to Richmond and sell it to the various tobacco companies. Did he have to maintain his, inventory? Yeah, he had to maintain inventory. We had seeds and fertilizer and all those kinds of things. And after a number of questions like that, they said, Why don't you think he was an entrepreneur?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, I guess he was." So I was being exposed to the world of being an entrepreneur without me knowing that, because I didn't view a farmer as an entrepreneur growing up.
Yeah, no, that's a great like it sounds like training and just foray and what you do now.
Yeah.
And congrats. I mean, you got the Inc. 5000 in the background, why don't you, get, I guess give us a little bit of sense of, some of the type of organizations that you work with and, kind of like some of the, different placements that you've done. Like what's the, tell us a little bit, give us some highlights.
Yeah, so we started the company, my college roommate, Sam Young, and I started the company as an IT staffing company. My background and Sam's background was in IT, and so we thought that was the best place for us to start. Over the 26 years, we've gotten into various types of staffing. We do healthcare related staffing these days, call center, administrative, um, all sorts of staffing today. Um, we started with commercial clients when we first started the company. Today, in addition to commercial clients, we do a lot of state government related work, some federal work as well. And so it's been sort of an ever evolving company over the last 26 years. Today we do work, I think, in 17 or 18 different states across the U.S.
That's impressive. And what would you say is like your top skill, throughout all this?
Me personally,
Yeah, what's the skill that, is your best strength?
I would say relationship building and being strategic. Those are the skills personally that I think have been beneficial to me. I once sat with the president of a division of a multi-billion-dollar company. They're probably Fortune 100, I would guess, size company, and I was trying to do business with them, and I had given him my 10-minute spiel on Astyra and what it is we do. And I'm going back 15 or 20 years ago now. But I talked to him about what it is we do and what it is we were offering his firm. And he asked me, Hamilton, a similar question. He said, "Hey, Ken, what's your strongest trait?" And I said, "Well, at Astyra, he said, No, 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 no. I'm asking you, what's your strongest trait?" And I guess I looked at him like a deer in the headlights because I hadn't been asked that question before. And he said, "Hey, Ken, I trust you." I trust everything you just said. I trust your personality. I trust the words that come out of your mouth, and that you will deliver on what you say you can. And you'll tell me if you can't deliver. Hey, you got the contract, and that was one of our first really big major contracts that, and we still do work with that Fortune 500 company today. And again, that was almost 20 years ago that we had that conversation. So I think, again, going back to relationship building and being able to have conversation with people and be genuine about who I am and what it is our company can do, and hopefully that leads to opportunities for us.
And what's the most important thing to you when it comes to leadership?
Uh, I would have to say listening. Hopefully, being a good listener to what your folks that you're leading have to say. Take that into consideration when you're making your decisions.
And what's some of the I guess things that you do for continuous education and like learning and staying on top of your craft?
Yeah, both Sam and I were IT computer science majors in college, and neither of us had taken business classes. We were going to go work for IBM or some major corporation, right? Then we found ourselves running this company. And so I had to become a business savvy person. And so I did take classes at executive education classes at the University of Virginia, at the Amos Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth, at the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern, and so on. And so I've taken a lot of executive ed classes over the years to try to build that toolbox and that tool set of being a leader. Joined organizations. Of course, we belong to things like the Chamber of Commerce and here in Richmond, the Metropolitan Business League. But as an individual, I joined the Virginia Council of CEOs, and I was a part of that organization for 9 years. Currently, I'm in YPO, which is another sort of leadership organization. In addition to taking statewide and local leadership classes as well. So I do think you have to be a continuous learner. I do think you never get to a point where you know everything, so you should always be trying to learn more. And I certainly feel that that's the path that I've been on.
And what's the most challenging thing about what you do right now?
Uh, we live in a changing environment. The world is constantly changing. And right when you think you got it figured out, we get a pandemic, but that pops on us. Before that, it was a big recession. So the world is changing. AI has introduced itself and will be a part of what we do going forward in every aspect of what anyone's job is. So I think continuous change and being nimble as that change presents itself is going to continue to be a challenge for anyone trying to lead an organization of any size.
And who's just like someone in the organization that you just couldn't live without in your day to day?
Oh, we got lots of those folks around here. We have several people who have been with Sam and I for years and years and years, that are crucial to the organization. But from the top on down, we really try to have a culture that we're proud of, and we really try to hire people that fit that culture. And so everyone is a gear in the machine that makes it go. And so I need them all.
Yeah. And what's the pain point that you all solve for the clients? Why do they hire you, or why do they contract with you?
Yeah, Hamilton, from the very beginning, um, starting the company, again, Sam and I were IT guys, right? And IT guys tend to think logically, and tend to be able to be a little bit strategic. And so um, we've always been problem solvers. That's what I was as a computer programmer. I was a problem solver. That's what Sam was on his side of the house, which was more, working with servers, security, websites, etc. Um, he saw himself as a problem solver. So we bring that trait over to Astyra when we started the company of wanting to be problem solvers. So when we're standing in front of a client, it's not our goal to simply be a headhunter or a body shop. We don't want to send you a bunch of resumes, cross our fingers, and hope you like our candidates. What we want to do is be a problem solver, be a partner with you in your problem, and help you figure out a solution for it. So in order to do that, I have to have conversations with you. I have to understand what it is that's causing your organization challenges, what it is that's keeping you up at night. That way we can sort of, again, craft a solution. We like to think that we empower businesses with tools and knowledge and talent to help them succeed in this quick and ever changing world. So that's always our value proposition is we're going to seek to be a solution provider and partner with you on solving your challenges.
And what type of marketing do you do at Astyra? Like, what's the best way to get new contracts?
So we view ourselves as having two different types of customers. The job seeker is one type of customer for us, the person that's out there looking for the job, and the way we market to them is going to be one method. And then our other customer is the client, the person that's looking to hire people. So we always feel we have two types of customers, and how we market to those customers is different. So you asked about how do we go out and get business from our clients. That's usually lots of face-to-face meetings. Again, we're hoping to build relationships. We're in it for the long haul, so we're meeting someone and hoping a year from now, 2 years from now, we're doing work with them. We're not hoping to meet them and do work for them 2 weeks from now. Oh, now we'll take that if that comes along, but that's not our strategy. Our strategy is to build a long-standing relationship, to understand the client, understand the people they need, understand the people who they are, their culture, their mission, their goals, and then when the opportunity presents itself, say, hey, we think we have a solution for you that fits what it is you're trying to do. And so because that's the approach, it's a lot of conferences, it's a lot of face-to-face meetings, it's a lot of introductions from previous clients saying, hey, we've used Astyra over the years. We think you can benefit from using them also. So it's a lot of referrals, a lot of introductions. There's a lot of going to conferences where we shake hands and meet people, hand out business cards, that sort of thing. We don't tend to advertise in the paper or run ads on TV or radio. It's all going to be us standing in front of somebody, shaking their hand and telling them who we are.
That's great. And what kind of conferences work best for finding the ideal clients?
It depends. We go to some conferences where we're looking for corporate clients. We go to conferences where we're looking for state government work, where we're trying to bid on major projects and win those things. And so there are 2 or 3 different types of conferences we'll go to. And then in each of those categories, there are specific conferences that we make sure we attend every year because we know the kinds of clients we're looking for are going to be there. I'll give you one example. We do a lot of work in the Medicaid space. And so there's a MESC conference that's Medicaid related, and all of the big consulting firms that do work for in the Medicaid space for the various states, they're all going to be at that conference. So we will go to that conference because all of the folks we want to do work with are there. And so again, we try to be very strategic. It requires a lot of research on our part. And it's not stuff we knew how to do day one. This is stuff we've learned how to do over years and years of trial and error, and finding the conferences and the places and the spaces that people are going to be that fit our need and the way we go after business. And so it's usually very specific for a particular industry or a particular kind of work that we'll go to a conference for and hope that the clients we want will be there.
And they say the dollars are in the follow-up. So what's the follow-up like when you go to these conferences and you meet these different decision makers, or sometimes it's not the decision maker, it's the person that maybe can connect you to the decision maker. What's the sales process? Are you presenting them like a presentation of this is how we can help you with your solution, or getting information and then coming back with some type of presentation, and then it's kind of waiting for a committee to approve? I'm kind of brainstorming here a little bit on how it would go, but how does it typically work?
Yeah, for us, it's about being strategic. And again, with one of your previous questions, I said that we are patient, and our sales cycle is one that we expect to be long. So because I expect it to be 12 months to 18 months before a chance meeting with you leads to an opportunity, um, my follow-ups aren't urgent in nature. It's
I
not
get it.
like, hey, I want to get some work from you next week. When can we talk? It's more about, hey, I'm going to be in your city in the next month. Can I arrange a meeting with you? Or, hey, here's a PowerPoint about some of the things we've done that it looks like your organization needs. Hopefully, there'll be an opportunity for us in the future. Can we arrange, a follow-up conversation? I think sometimes business owners, or particularly people in the sales roles, make the follow-up very urgent in nature. Um, and so we try not to do that. It's more about the long haul. It's about establishing a long-term relationship, not wanting the client to feel like this is transactional. Hey, I want an opportunity. Can we do this real quick? No, it's about building a relationship such that um, we're your we're your vendor or your partner 10 years from now, not just on this one opportunity. I mentioned we've been around for 26 years now. We have one corporate client that's been a client of ours for 25 of the 26 years. We have another corporate client that's been a client for 23 years, another one for 22 years. I mean, so we want to be able to do work for our clients for the long haul. And you don't establish that kind of relationship by trying to be very transactional or being very urgent in the beginning. And so again, for us, it's if I met someone at a conference, I probably won't email them the next day. I might not email them for another week, maybe 2 weeks, and say, hey, I met you at the conference. Because everyone that met them at the conference is emailing them the next day. Well, I don't want to be in a group with everybody else, and I don't want to make it seem urgent. And so I may wait a while before I reach back out. And again, it's about establishing a relationship, establishing a cadence where we can talk regularly. Let's talk today, and let's talk again next month and the month after that. Because again, I want it to be the right fit for you, the right fit for us, and we're not urgently seeking um, a contract right away. Because again, I think that makes it feel transactional.
And how do you expand into these different relationships? I mean, you got someone that's 24, 23, 25 years, 22 years. How do you grow in those types of organizations? Is there like a strategic roadmap, or like 1 year you're going to do X number of, work for them, and then the next year you're going to say, look at what we did last year, like, this is the thing we could do? Or do they just come to you and just kind of like give it to you more on hey, you're already doing a good job, just give us more, give us more of that help?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix, right? I think some of it can be strategic, like, hey, we're doing work over here in this one division. We like to do it in another division, or we're doing work for you in this state. We like to do it in two other states as well. But also sometimes it's organic. It's you've done a good job for us. We'd like to move you to another state. We'd like to move you to another project, right? I think those are the best opportunities is when it's organic and the client comes to us and says, hey, you've done a great job for us. Can you help us on this also? Um, it's good when it works out when it's strategic as well, where we plan to expand. But again, we don't want it to seem transactional. We want it to all be relationship driven. And a lot of times in a relationship, you want it to be organic. You want it to kind of happen as it happens. And so it is our goal at every client to expand that relationship, but we don't want to force it. And so we look for opportunities. We let them know we're here. We do that too. We did thing A for you, but we do thing B too. So whenever you need thing B, think of us as well. And it works out well when they come back to us and says, hey, yeah, we want to try you in this space, in this new division, with this new product, this new service, whatever it is.
And how like routine or not are you? Are you like a routine person where every Monday you got to do a team huddle, and then, every Tuesday you'll be, having these like arranging these meetings and then following up with clients? Or like how do you kind of like organize your time? Like what are you spending the bulk of your time doing?
Yeah, For me personally, I try to be as organized as I can. And internally at the company, we do have our standing Monday morning staff meeting. We do have our Thursday follow-up meeting. We do have our every other week sales team meeting. We have this cadence with meetings that we have internally that are on the calendar for forever, and everyone knows when they are. Um, but it is important, I think, to be organized and to have the best time management you can. We all have a finite amount of time in each day. And for me, I serve on, and for my partner Sam as well, both serve on a lot of boards, and often in leadership roles on those boards. So that can take you out of the office and away from the company to do those kinds of things. Um, and so sometimes my time in the office is limited. And so when I am in the office, I got to be very organized and efficient with my use of time. But we do serve on these boards, and it is a way that we support the community. And by serving on boards, that also promotes our brand and gets the Styrus brand out there, my personal brand as well, out into the community. So it is a way that we keep ourselves relevant by serving on these boards while, working towards and for the mission of the organization that we're on the board of. And so it's twofold in how beneficial that can be. But your question was about time management. Yes, it's something you got to be mindful of as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader. You have a finite amount of time, and you got to be smart with how you use it.
And what about the sales teams? How do you build sales teams and build like structure for them for, comp plans and stuff like that? How did you build your sales team? And then, like what kind of outbound type of stuff do they do?
Yeah, for us, that's been an area that has grown significantly, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years, right? If no matter what your product or service is, if you start a business, you're the salesperson. No matter what widget you're selling, what service you're selling. If, in the very beginning, you're the salesperson. So both myself and Sam served as salespeople. As you grow, you start adding people to that team. And as we grew, we had a little division. Sam and I are 50-50 partners in the company. So what would be my role as we grew and what would be his role? And so his role is operations and day-to-day effectiveness, and my role is business development. And so, as we started to expand further our sales efforts and our business development efforts, I needed more people in support of that. And so, we do have a team of folks that do that. One person in particular is our VP of Strategy and Development. His name is Lee Radigan. Lee leads the effort in terms of business development and strategically looking for opportunities for us to bring in new clients. I'm out in the marketplace, meeting people, shaking hands, uh, that sort of thing. And then I'll throw those relationships often over to the account management team, the sales team, so they can further expand on them. But many of the relationships are key, and I keep them myself. And I'm continuing to try to grow that relationship, expand that relationship, et cetera. So, it's an interesting process. It's one that continues to evolve. And again, we give a lot of thought to how it is we go to the market, how it is we interact with our potential clients. And again, we expect that sales cycle. And I go back to this again, Hamilton. We expect the sales cycle to be 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And so again, it's for us, business development is relationship building, following up, as we talked about earlier, continuing to stay in touch. I'll see you next month. I'll see you at the next conference. I'll see you at the next thing, and continuing to expand that. But that tends to be our approach. It's much more of relationship building and business development than it is, hey, we're in sales mode.
Do you have a marketing team?
We don't have a marketing team here at Aspire.
Got it. So it's mainly like the sales function or business development function, and then it kind of just gets brought into operations and fulfillment pretty much.
Correct. And we do have, so we have our account managers that are out there and promoting the company from a marketing standpoint. The recruiting team, again, if we go back to, we have two types of customers. clients and job seekers, our recruiting team is, marketing to the job seeker, if you will. So
Mm-hmm.
the recruiting
Mm-hmm.
team is trying to find ways to bring in interested parties who might be interested in the, a project we have or a role we have that's going to work for one of our clients. The recruiting team is trying to, quote unquote, market to the job seekers, while the business development team is trying to market to the corporate clients.
What's the secret to the relationship building side of it and the business development side? Is there like something that you
If I
see?
have to say there was a secret, I would say be authentic.
Okay.
Be your authentic self. And hopefully that's good enough for that client. And if it's not, maybe that client is not good enough for you. Sometimes, um, business owners are so um, keen on finding new customers, they'll take any customer. And sometimes the customer can not be the right fit. And so, if we present who we are and what it is we do, if that's not a good fit, we prefer to acknowledge that and move on into, another client where we are a good fit for what it is we do and how it is we present ourselves and how it is we go to market. So I think the one secret to relationship building for me is just being authentic, just being your authentic self. Again, going back to the one corporate guy that I was talking to that said, "Hey, can I trust you?" I was just being my authentic self. I wasn't even looking for him to trust me. I was just, you know, stating who we are and what it is we do. And so that was a lesson. Again, that was almost 20 years ago. That lesson has really stuck with me that, hey, you can just be your authentic self. And that should be good enough for the clients if they have a need of your service and you can deliver on that service. Being your authentic self is the best way to secure that opportunity.
And Inc. 5000 does like a conference or something themselves, don't they? Do you go to that?
Yeah, yeah, we've been a few times. This year marks the seventh time that our company appeared in Inc. magazine's fastest growing companies in the
Congratulations.
country. Thanks. And of those seven times, we've probably gone to the conference three or four of those times. You had a couple COVID years in there this year, and a couple COVID years in there, and then this year we did not go to the conference just because we were super busy. Um, but there have been
It's
plenty of
always
other
good to
times.
be busy, booked and
It's
busy,
always good to
and
be
don't
busy.
even show up for the award to pick up the award.
Yeah, it's always good to be like, hey, can y'all ship it to us? We can't make it to the conference. So there's another award coming up in a couple of weeks, another national award that we're going to receive, and we will be receiving that for the fifth time. And I can't say what it is because they don't want us to say until it's announced. But again, that's another one. Again, unfortunately, we're not going to the conference. We're going to have to get them to mail us the award. We're busy trying to keep growing. The awards are nice, but the biggest reward is growing year after year, still being here and moving forward. So unfortunately, we won't go to that conference either. But excited to receive the reward when it shows up.
Yep, absolutely. What about the advice for someone that had this, like, how would you start over again? Like, if you were starting over again today and you had to, you know, get these contracts and then they're 12 to 18 months out and you're doing these different conferences. I don't know how many conferences you would go to in a year, but what would be your strategy to like, building it up from the ground up again?
Yeah, if I had to start over, but you're going to allow me to have the knowledge that I have right now today, I would
Yeah,
do
we're
many
gonna let you
many
keep the knowledge.
yeah, I would do many many things differently. Again, early on is you don't know what you don't know. And so as I mentioned, we started the business without either of us ever taking a single business class. I would have done that first maybe
Mm.
take some get educated a little bit better. We made some mistakes in those first 3, 4, 5 years that I would rather not make the second time around if we were starting the business all over again. And so I would have educated myself a little bit more on what it means to be in business before starting one. Um, some hiring decisions along the way. We could have, seen some red flags and made some better hiring decisions. Um, we could have gone to seek funding a little bit differently than we did before, not have to call on family and friends, and instead, have built relationships with financial institutions early on. Today, banks call us up and say, "Hey, can we come talk to you about being our clients?" But when you're starting a business, it's tougher to get those meetings with decision makers at banks, and so probably would have went about that a little bit differently as well. But there's probably a number of things that in that category. If I only knew then what I know now, things that you would do differently. But number one thing would be I probably would have taken some basic business class, accounting classes, marketing classes. Would have done some of those things earlier instead of having to learn them on the way as we were growing.
That's great. And where do you want to be in like the next 5 or 10 years? Where do you see firm going? What do you hope to have achieved?
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll continue to grow over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm hoping that we as a company will find a way to integrate AI successfully into what it is we're doing, because I think again it's going to touch everybody in some sort of way around the world is going to be touched by AI. So continuing to explore that and integrating that into our process, continuing to expand across across the U.S. Again, I mentioned today we're working about 18 different states. That means there's some other states out there that are there for us to do work in. We have our eye on a couple projects, major projects that are coming up that will be 5-year long projects. And so again, if you say where I want to be in 5 years, I want to be finishing up this 5-year project that I'm hoping we win to start 2024. It looks like very promising for us. So we have a couple of those lined up. But I think we're in a very good space. We're 26 years old, and growing and continuing to be relevant, continuing to win some awards at the national level, continuing to show up well when you compare us to other firms around the country that either do what we do or just businesses in general. When you compare what we do to them, we often make the list or win the award or are in the conversation, and so that tells me we're doing something good and we're doing something right.
No, that's great. Thank you so much for doing this, Ken. And I'm sure the listeners are going to be inspired. Where can they, follow you or, get in touch if they have a contract to, discuss?
Well, our website is astyra.com, astyra.com. And if you come to our website in the next month or so, you'll see a new website. So we're in the midst of developing a new website with a new, fresh brand and a new look. So that's coming soon. But yeah, you can find us at esteemed.com, and you can find me personally on LinkedIn. Ken Ampy, Ampy. Like Coach Prime in Colorado, I ain't hard to find.
That's all right. That's how it is. No, this is great. Amazing.